Hello from me, and thank you for the introduction, Urmas. As a musician, to be the last act of the evening is the best moment. Somebody has warmed people up, but to speak about such a topic at the end of the day, I hope that you still have a bit of mental resources left so that you can think along with me. And I have built this up in a way. Let's do two exercises, one evaluation and then another evaluation. We'll see how you are doing. Because if you have pens or papers, you can take it out. Hopefully, well, I prefer that you not write it inside your phone. Use your hand or a pen, but if you have nothing else, then you can use your smartphone. And the question is how to direct our attention in the plenitude of information. First of all, me. Who am I? My most important role is being a mother. I have two sons, 7-year-old Willem and 5-year-old Gu, who I will be taking on a 2-week trip on Sunday. I'm looking forward to this vacation. The last time I was on holiday was in January. Everything that I'm telling here, I'm telling to myself as well. I'm a musician. Many of you know me on stage with bagpipes. I am a singer in a band called Sadu. I understand Urmas sings us under the shower. I'm a life coach. This came to me 6-7 years ago when I experienced a burnout, and I understood that if I wanted to stay on the stage, I needed to do something, and I started working on myself. You have to do something in such a situation, and this has fascinated me. People have asked me, who are you really? Especially, tabloid media journalists. Who are you? Are you a musician or are you a life coach? And then I understood at some point, why do I have to choose? If I had not been doing music with the intensity that I was doing it, I would never have taken up coaching. I never would have worked on myself. And if I hadn't worked on myself, I would never have been able to return to the stage. So my life is a combination of those two aspects. And then I have some other things as well. I'm an author, entrepreneur, podcaster, but I'm also a smartphone addict. I'm talking about those topics, I'm dealing with those topics, but just recently my bandmate Freddie called me, hey, smartphone addict. And I thought that I should put this on the slide, because whether we are not aware of this or not, the screen is addictive. Who is willing to raise a hand and say that they're an addict as well? Urmas raised his hand. Did you see? Tabloid news. Urmas Vaino is a smartphone addict. Well, each one of us has a bit of this in them. And since we only have 25 minutes left, then to delve deep into this topic, it would take hours. Why is this happening? Why are we getting addicted? I am recommending 2 books to you. If you really want to get hold of this issue or to understand what is going with yourselves, then Johan Hari's Stolen Focus. The main point of this book is that we're not only individually responsible for all of this. This is not an issue of willpower. This is about the society that we have reached. This doesn't mean that you are not responsible and that you can scroll 2 hours at night saying that Sandra says, I'm not responsible for this. Of course, it's up to you to put away the phone. But the question why it is so difficult is a matter of our environment. And the second book is Brain Freedom by Jaan Aru, best Estonian book last year. Has anyone read it? Only 2 people. If you have it, but you haven't read it, please take it out tonight. It's an excellent book. A few ideas here. First of all, social media does not support thinking. It will give you lots of information, but it won't support you in thinking. Secondly, AI will turn most of internet contents into slop. And the third idea, the main source for creativity and intelligence is not AI, but our own unique, limited, mistake-ridden, weird way of thinking. And for us to have this way of thinking, we need our own time. Our time without consuming information, a time when I get a different kind of information, read different kinds of books, talk to people who are not really your people. Talk to people who create this reaction, oh, this is not really my kind of person at all. Maybe you've even had this reaction today, but you should talk to those different people. So I could speak 2 hours about this slide, but to cap it up, why are screens so lovely and why do we lose focus? And this has nothing to do with, this is not only to do with screens, it also has to do with food, also has to do with video games. We want to do this. Our brain, when we use them, releases dopamine. That gives us the wonderful feeling. Do you know where you get most of your dopamine from? 2 things, actually. There has been research about books or communication or sex or sport giving you dopamine, but there are 2 things that give you the most. Food, yes. Sweets, running, cocaine, and cold water. So plunge into a hole in ice. The effect will be similar to using cocaine. Well, first of all, with cocaine, it's expensive, and the dopamine will come down in 9 minutes. Cold water lasts about 2 hours. So anyway, all of this creates this feeling of pleasure, and we keep wanting this. Why do we get addicted? It gave me such a good feeling. That means it must be very good. But not everything that gives us a good feeling is not good for us. Not everything that releases dopamine is good for us. So we need to take this rational side of our brain and listen to it saying that the fact that we only needed to move our thumbs and got a rush of dopamine, that it is really good for us. We need to look at where we get our dopamine and what kind of dopamine. So we are in dopamine overdrive. We live in a dopamine overdrive world. We get dopamine from everywhere, from screens, from foods that have too much sugar in them. Sometimes it's difficult to understand what kind of dopamine is the good one. But now that you know all of this, you can analyze what creates this feeling of pleasure for you. And what are the things that take your focus away? Digital things, notifications, social media, and so on. Multitasking. Who likes to multitask? I like that you halfway raise your hands. You're somewhat multitasking, right? Lack of sleep, huge destroyer of focus. Who sleeps 7 to 9 hours every night? Good. This is already good for a focus. Stress, anxiety, very common today. Food and environment. What we eat impacts our focus because research shows that the microbes and everything that we have in our gut has a direct link to our brain. So we need to keep an eye on what we are eating and also our environment. I have been working the long day. Then I came here, and the noise level when I entered this building, just, it tired me in 2 minutes, and then I saw that you were all being really smart and wearing headsets. Being in a noise-filled environment really, really tires us out. But how to keep our focus? Well, first of all, let's undergo an evaluation. Smartphone addiction, 11 questions. Mark yourself 1 to 10. 10, really bad. 1, no problem at all. 11 questions. Mark them 1 to 10. If you have any questions, ask. First, after waking up, do you use a smartphone in the first hour? Scrolling, reading news, emails, and so on. Think about a week. If you do this every day, mark yourself 10. If it happens sometimes, put yourself somewhere between 1 and 10. Can I move on? Okay. Do you look at your smartphone during the last hour before sleep? 1 to 10. Did anyone get a 1? 1 means that every night you're free of screens for 1 hour. No one got a 1. Oh, thanks. At least 1. I still have a thing. So if you lose sleep at night, does your hand stretch out for a phone? I mean, if your sleep never goes away, then you get a 1 anyway. But if it does, is that the first thing that you do? If you're online, do you often use your sense of time and find yourself surprised at how long you have been surfing online? Have you ever felt embarrassed for having spent too much time in a smart device or try to hide your use of a smartphone? Have you repeatedly tried to reduce your screen time and been unsuccessful or faced major difficulties? Who has tried to reduce their screen time? Who promises it every morning? Does your hand stretch out for a smart device the moment you're stressed, tired, bored, anxious? Is that the first thing that you try to use then? Number 8. How much do you want to take a phone every time you have a free moment? During a break at work, walking in the street, in a line in a shop? Number 9. Have your obligations or tasks, learning, work, homework, been prejudiced by your time on a smart device? Number 10. Does the time spent on a smartphone impact the quality of relationships, decrease the good conversations that you're having or eye-to-eye meetings? And the last, do you continue frequent use of a smartphone even if you feel that it makes you feel bad? When? How do you know that you're not feeling well? That's a very good question. When you're tired, you have physical issues, your fingers feel tired. Once you have the 11 sets of points, please add them up. And there are no right or wrong answers. I mean, if you're over 100, did anyone get over 100? You need to be honest to yourself, because if we recognize our issues, we can change if we want to. If we get more than 100, then it is an issue to deal with. But it will give you sort of your percentage on the scale. Who got less than 50? Wow, you're really doing well. Super. So it's like a nice mirror you can look into. And it was a good question. How do I know that I'm feeling bad? And what do I do if I feel bad? I'll give you one practical piece of advice. If you try it, if you're stressed out, if you've lost your focus, how can you give a bubble bath to your brain? What do you think is the one activity, leaving cocaine and cold water aside, what is the one activity that anyone can do that impacts your brain in a way that it will generate all those good chemicals and make your brain and body feel good? Breathing, walking, there was something else. Movement. Movement with your pulse slightly elevated. Jogging, walking fast, 10 to 15 minutes, and your brain will start producing those wonderful chemicals. Sometimes it's so difficult to stand up from the coffee table and start moving, but this really has such an impact on our brain as if it was taking a bubble bath. I tell my children when they ask for the iPad at night that let's go outdoors, let's give our brain a bubble bath. So keep this in mind. There's a lot that you can do for your brain. It's a small thing. It doesn't cost you anything. If you can't go outdoors, walk around in your own home. When we were on a tour in the US and we were not able to go out into the street, I just went into the hotel corridor and walked back and forth. But one more evaluation for you, your habits. And I mean, you know what the first 5 things will be that impact our focus. But the question is, how are you feeling about these things in your own life? It's very often that we know, but we're not doing it. Let's look at 10 habits that all have an impact on focus. How are you doing? Think about the last week, not further back, just the last week. The 10 habits. You can get 10 points here if you're doing extremely well. And you can give yourself 1 point if you say, I've never done this, not during the last week either. So don't scroll in your phone. Sleep. During the last week, have you been able to sleep 7 to 9 hours every night this week? Not in total, every night. There's always this one person who asks whether this is in total. And it is sad that this question actually rises quite naturally in our society today. 7 to 9 hours a night. There are very few people who can manage with less than 7 hours. Mothers with babies, those 2 years won't kill us, but they will hurt our brains. Habit number 2, movement. Have you moved sufficiently? Let's take WHO suggestion, 150 minutes of reasonable pulse rate training. So not just walking in the street, 10,000 steps a day are good, but walking like I am right now, this is not supportive to our muscles. So 150 medium level training a day. So food. Have you eaten during the last week in a way to give your body sufficient energy? The good indicator is that if you have a full stomach, you still have the energy to keep moving. You don't want to sit on a sofa for 2 hours. So 80% of our meals should be like that. 20% can be something else. I, for example, love sausage rolls, like 20 at a time. Possibly not that much, but that can only happen 20% of the time. Next one, screens. 10 points to those who leave a screen-free hour in the morning. Some of you still in the game, right? Have a screen-free hour in the evening without notifications. And have no FOMO feeling that would force you to take a smartphone every moment when you have free time. If you have this constant FOMO feeling, phone is the thing that you take up first in the morning and put down last in the evening. Did anyone get a 1? That's what you should get. I could get almost 10 out of this. You have 10 in total. Well, at least you have a 10. Let's move on. Morning routine. Do you have a good morning routine that does not include screens? Yes, you can turn the alarm clock off or the alarm off, but something that helps you to focus for the day. I've heard different versions. Maybe you stretch, maybe you read, maybe you have a notebook that you fill. I have a friend who takes a warm bath for 30 minutes every morning. A university professor once asked me during this exercise and asked, well, I have a habit. I'm not sure whether it's good. It's 1 glass of cognac every morning. I said, well, now alcohol. And then I thought, he's 85. I don't know what life he's had. I don't know his blood pressure levels. So I don't know how, it's sure that he doesn't take the second and the third class. So maybe that's actually a good idea. So something that would help you focus on the day. What are you doing for yourself in the morning? And have you been doing this throughout the week? Next one, planning. Do you plan what you do? I mean, work, yes. Children's training lessons, yes. But do you also plan the things that are important for you? Your own hobbies, meeting up with friends, going to the theater, travel? Or is it about, well, I'll do all those things if I have time left over? Do you plan in slots of time for yourself? The next one, the flow, the state of flow. This is a very important thing for our focus. Every day, we should be doing something that we can focus on. We do one thing at a time. We don't multitask. Something that is really important to us and something that allows us to get immersed in this so that you forget everything else. It can be work related. It can be reading for someone. It can be walking without listening to something at the same time. Do you have this kind of activity and can you stay in the flow? Ideally, you should have at least 1 hour of the flow state during your day. Hobby. Do you have a hobby and have you been practicing it throughout the last week? What's a good hobby? It doesn't have an objective. You don't need to attain a goal. You don't need to win anything. And secondly, it's something that you need to like to do. And it shouldn't be related to your work. For me, playing an instrument is not a hobby. Scrolling, yay. No, scrolling is not a hobby. Not even cat videos. Rest. During the last week, have you taken a rest? What a rest means to you might be different for everyone, but after that, you should feel rested. I had a eureka moment this week. I take time to sleep. I sleep 8.5 hours. I exercise regularly. I read. So looking outside in, it looks ideal. But I understood that throughout those activities, I'm like in the fight and flight mode. So let's get this exercise done. Let's get this thing read. And I realized that I was not resting. I was not switching out. So this is something I'm working on. Scrolling again. No, scrolling is not rest. It tires your brain and it actually makes you more stupid. If you don't want to be stupid, don't scroll too much. Maximum 1 hour per day. Yeah, of course, we have to be in the screens for work purposes, but maximum 1 hour for screens for anything else, and that includes TV, by the way. That's tough, but that's how it is. And the last thing, relationships. If all of the above is really important, then all of the above is also much influenced by our relationships. If your relationships are, I beg your pardon, shit, then you're going to sleep really badly. You need to have at least one person to whom you can turn to when something is really wrong and someone who will be really happy if something very good happens to you. It's lovely if you got 10 now. And the last question. During the last week, have you contributed towards those relationships? Have you asked people how they are doing? Have you contacted people? So, 10 points down. So calculate your score. 1 to 10 on each of the 10 habits. The biggest number I've seen was 96, and that was an elderly maths teacher, so she could calculate. And then I asked how it was possible to get such a high number. I can't get this. And she answered with life experience. So when we are more mature, all of this feels natural to us. And the lowest score I've seen was 14. That was a single mom with 2 kids working full time who came up to me afterwards and asked, where do I start? So it is a tough question, but you need to deal with several things at a time. Who got more than 50? Most of you. Where could we be? We should be around 80, actually. 80% is what we can do ourselves. 20% is circumstances. Like I fell ill last week, for example, and I didn't exercise a lot, but I can perhaps compensate by eating better or being on screens less. Please choose one out of those habits that you need to work on. Whichever it is, it will support all the other habits as well, and it will support your focus. And write down one step that you will be taking this week. We are only Thursday, you can do anything. One habit that you will be focusing on this week and one action. And very practically, not I'm going to move more during the weekend. No, 10 o'clock Saturday morning, I'm going to take my friend out for power walking. Sleep longer, good, but write down how long. So the 3 remaining days, try the 1 screen-free hour before sleep. It will impact your energy levels, it will impact your sleep, it will impact your willingness to eat better. So choose just one habit. And now I would like to know what the habit is that you'd like to deal with. Just raise your hand. Sleep? Movement? Food? Screens? Morning routines? Glass of cognac? Planning? Flow? Finding the state of flow? Hobby? Rest? Relationships. We got a bit of everything. And finally, what I'd like to say, those habits and I mean, none of those came as a surprise to us. We are doing all of this for ourselves. We're not doing this to show others. I mean, if you want to put something on social media, then by all means do, but we're doing all of this for ourselves. What is important that we stay on track. Yeah, by the end of January, 98% of people will have failed their New Year's resolutions. And not to fail, you need to answer the question, why? Why do you want to be on screens less? Perhaps you don't want to be stupid. Why is it important for you to move more? Why is it important to train more? A friend answered this question, I want to wipe my own ass when I'm 80. I train and sleep properly because I want to have the energy to travel and do things together with my 7- and 5-year-old. I want to be able to climb a hill with them. 10 years' time, they won't be interested in anymore. So you will face obstacles if you do this, but the question why will help you at this point. And the second thing to keep in mind are agreements with yourself. Why should our agreements with others be more important? Oh, yeah, tonight I can work late and not train and not sleep. So I have some agreements with myself concerning screens. So just as by way of inspiration to you, no notifications, 1 screen-free hour in the morning and in the evening. In the evening, it's really difficult. Social media-free weekends, fixed spot for the phone, for my own phone and for my kids' phone at home. I only follow the people on social media who give me value. I don't follow anyone who posts stupid things. And news twice a day, not more. You don't need to miss out on anything, but you have to create the environment that is surrounding you yourselves. And one final idea before allowing Urmas on stage. So the habits that we have, depending on what they are, will either make us or break us. We become what we repeatedly do. And all of this is not about grand goals or what we want to show others. This is about how we use screens at night, how we move, what we eat. This is what creates us as people. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. I had a few thoughts when we talk about hobbies. I remembered that it was maybe a song by 5-, that you're like an Insta model. I'm the FIFA top footballer. But today's hobbies are different, simply. I have a really good friend who is a hairdresser, Heinz, whose hobby is to meet up with friends every now and then, and they drink a little bit of beer, not much, and then FIFA tournament, and it's cool. Well, if it gives them more than it takes, then it's good. But Instagram model, do you get money for this? Why do you ask me? You could be an alternative Instagram model, anti-Insta model, actually. But if a person finds something that helps them find themselves, it's great. Yes, we shouldn't forbid anything. It's not black and white. But the question is, does it break you or does it give you more? That's the question. If your holy thunder or if your browser history would be your life story, then what could we discover from it? Someone asked this question. Do you have your phone in the pocket? No, I don't. It's somewhere in the corner. Where in the corner is the smartphone? Well, I can't tell you what I Googled in the during the past days. Well, I know what I Googled. We were in the studio and we were writing something. It's really weird. We were writing a new song and we wanted to write about a thing where you can't get out of the song. Once you're in the song, you can't get out of it. And I remembered something similar that I had seen in social media. I Googled it. What kind of animals copulate so that... I told you it's weird. I'm honest. Freddie said, okay, now Google will suggest you very interesting advertisements for sure. What kind of animals then find their partners in a way that once they are in the intercourse, then for 40 minutes they are locked in. They can't get away. What was the answer? Snakes and something else. Well, we are at the conference. The aim is to leave with new knowledge. Can you imagine? Someone goes home and wife asks, what did you talk about? Or what did you hear about? 40 minutes. Can you imagine? Very therapeutical. Unfortunately, we can't see many other things that could be in your search history. All right, now a more deeper question. Even deeper. What is this one small thing that you already know that you should do, but you still postpone it? Wow, such a good question. Yes, we have this relationship podcast here, I feel. What I should do, what I also did yesterday evening, I was really ready. After the concert, I came home, I said, I won't eat. But once I got to my Airbnb and I still fried my rice that I had eaten during the day. That was the leftover of the day. And then I had some more things and even watermelon. So it was still really good. So my dream, wife comes home at 1 a.m. and starts to eat with me. I know that I shouldn't do it because I recover faster if I don't eat at night. Because I had eaten 5:30 before the concert. And maybe it was I was too hungry. Should I eat before or should I eat after or during the concert? I don't know. Sometimes I've even thought about it, maybe during the concert. I remember a classmate had discovered end of 80s protein and going to the gym, and at some time he said, well, time has come, and he started to eat this protein products. It's the same when you're on marathons. You have to eat, this gummy bears and things. When I'm on the stage, I can go and eat quickly this muesli bar maybe or something. So yes, I'm trying to solve this problem. In your opinion, where's the magic in limiting yourself? It's easy to say, find agreements with yourselves. How do you do it? How do you make sure that everything works the way you want to? As I understood, half of the list is difficult for yourself as well. Yes, it is difficult, but I know that the next day I will feel better if I'm not behind the screen in the evening. If you do it for long enough, you know that you feel great after. For example, 15 years ago, I used to wake up early, brush my teeth, made coffee, had two cigarettes in front of the chimney, drank another coffee, and then I started to work. I don't know, smoking. But anyway, I understood at some point that I don't want to do that. I'm too anxious, then I don't eat, and I have no energy. And I practiced to live differently for quite some time. And now in the morning, I don't need to pick up my phone for an hour. I have other habits. I read, I stretch, I fill my notebook. And I understood that it's much better. I feel much better. When you practice something long enough, 21 days, for example, actually, it's 3 to 4 months before your brain creates new connections. I'm sorry if I ruined it for someone, but 21 days is not enough for your brain. You need 3 to 4 months. And why? Why is it important? In 10 years' time, I don't want to say that, damn it, I should have worked more with myself. Kids were small. Well, it's always good to say that in hindsight, but then I could say, look at me, how I did everything. And a bit more provocative question. I don't expect anything else from you, Urmas. Well, for you, is it very important to have guys during the concert, with their phone like this, and maybe film them with a tablet? They're standing and filming and taking photos. Is it important for you? I have solved it at a foreign festival. I saw a huge artist who said after the first song that now do your photos and videos, show it on social media that you have a little bit better one, and then put your phones and tablets away and enjoy the concert. Would you like to do it? I haven't really noticed a problem yet. It doesn't bother me. In Estonia, the situation is not that bad. When we were in China in the past, I remember how we started with the music and then suddenly we only saw mobile phones, no faces. And then when the song ended, we saw the faces. I went to a concert in the past. I was with my wife. I think we managed to increase the average age of the audience, just the two of us. And then I understood why at the concerts today no one is clapping. Because you can't clap when you're holding your phone up. You have to scream. How can you clap when you're holding your phone? But yeah, I don't have the issue with it yet, so I don't need to deal with it. I will do it if it becomes an issue. Great. Thank you very much, Sandra. This was Sandra Sillamaa. Thank you.